Okay. Hello, Mr. Cundy. This is lesson 4 and 5, content knowledge, application of content. So I think the lesson went pretty well. It was okay. Thinking about the lesson afterwards, I feel like I could have given more in the content to the delivery of my students. Differentiation went well as far as splitting my groups. Technology and the other one staying with me, reading, highlighting, or whatnot. So how do you think, any recommendations, or how do you think the flow of the lesson went?
Okay. I thought the flow of the lesson went well. Differentiation went well. The tough part about content knowledge is on a broader piece. It's just tough as a special education teacher because you're expected to know everything that deals with content. Second thing is you were talking about Christopher Columbus. Okay, well, when I was in school, way back when, Christopher Columbus, he discovered the United States of America.
That
you
is
know
true.
what I mean?
Right.
So you have to be able to. It's so tough to be able to not just dig in to say what's the content, what reliable source are you getting it from. Meaning, okay, we as teachers, did we get it from another teacher? Have we seen it online because you got online resources? And then to take that information and figure out what is the key points that our students need to know, specifically knowing that their short-term memory is the shortest of short. So what do we really want them to know, and finding that key piece and then dragging it out. So I thought you did well for the way you had it set forth, but it's where the trickiest of parts comes in, that as far as this is the content you're going to deliver, and when you're in a class that has the park and other standards, it's clear cut. This is what you have to teach. When you're doing it in a self-contained autism room, it's really more about, this is the topic you need to teach, but what is it that your students are really going to learn? How are they going to take this skill and be able to apply it to life, where something ideally sticks? And that's going to be, it's just an ongoing process. So you're going to have to get better at it. You know what I mean? Get to know your kids, and then find, it has to also, when you're dealing with history, I think it also has to be a little bit intrinsic. Like, what do you kind of believe that will be good for our students? And it'll get better in time. And this is where, if you go to your standard 4 of content knowledge, you got to be a sponge. You got to take it all. You got to take in as much as possible, because you could very easily have history, English, math, and you got to act like you know what you're doing. No matter, you got to act like you know what you're doing, no matter what. And then the application of it, again, how does it? It's not really just how does it apply. How do you take that content and apply it to the students? But specifically when they have special needs, it's tough. It's so tough. So I wouldn't be too hard on yourself, but know that this is where you need to, in post, like you're done with a lesson, take notes. Write it down somewhere. So ideally, come the following year, if you're having to reteach it, you've made some notes, some modifications to your lesson plans. But overall, I thought you did good. But good Lord, it's a tough topic. It's controversial, if you will. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.